swear in the name of God that I shall speak the truth, the whole of the truth, and nothing but the truth. Consumers to understand. However, we bore through with that procedure and attempted to try and figure out the complicated tariff procedure of the electricity companies and how they end up actually fixing the tariff. The existing laws do require the multi-year tariff principle to be followed. It's laid down in the Electricity Act, the MERC tariff regulations, and the National Tariff Policy of 2006. In April of 2007, NYT orders were passed for the first control period of 3 years for 07, 08, 08, 09, and 9, 10. However, we noticed that, we were told at that point in time that the multi-year tariff would not necessitate a routine exercise every year so that people could plan out their expenses, they would be aware of the fact that this is going to be the tariff increase. The electricity companies could also plan out their expenditure and also their capital expenditure and their projects going forward, could also arrange for loans. They were guaranteed some kind of revenue, and only a truing up exercise was supposed to have been undertaken every year. But what we see is every year we see the same, the book which comes, which is running into 500-700 pages, and that's just for one utility. So the ordinary consumer is saddled with studying something like 3,000 odd pages of complete technical and financial data. As the gentleman just said, he's a financial expert, but he couldn't figure out and he didn't have the time to go through all of it. This is the plight of the common consumer. You see, what happens is we have a commission that is supposed to do all of this and is supposed to do a due diligence and present it to the consumers after having done the due diligence. What we see happening is we also have a set of consumer representative organizations, and we heard 2 of them speak. Now my question to them is, they were part of this validation session. They are privy to all of this information much before the consumer is. If they still have these questions, why didn't the commission answer these questions as part of the entire validation session? If data is incomplete, if both the consumer representative organizations are of the opinion that the capital expenditure is too high, it mustn't be allowed through, why is a document which contains all such questions unanswered put forward to the ordinary consumer, and he is given just 3 weeks to go through all of that and respond with a very, very complicated procedure in terms of, serve a notice on, serve a copy to Reliance, and then make 6 copies of that and give it to the commission. Do you think, honestly speaking, ordinary citizens have that kind of time and effort to do all of that? And if they don't do it, it is deemed to be that they have no objection to what is there in the book? I think it's fundamentally unfair that such kind of a procedure is put on us. It's like, it's tantamount to saying that if we don't object, it's accepted. And in order to object, we have... And in order to object, we have to follow a complicated procedure, which again is unfair. So, why doesn't the MERC, there is a regulation which says that the MERC needs to do a sanity check, it needs to put in consultants in place, it needs to do all that. And yes, talking of consultants, for God's sake, please don't hire PwC because they are the auditors for REL. No, it's not because of any other reason. It's because I have nothing against PwC, but they're the auditors for REL. Okay? And I believe last time for the MYT, if I'm not mistaken, the commission hired PwC to help them and assist them in the tariff finalization process, and for that particular year, they were the auditors for REL. So you have a classic case where REL submits audited data, rather data audited by PwC to MERC, and MERC on the other hand hires PwC to check whether the audited data submitted is correct or not. So in any case, the point I'm trying to reason, but because we find the process of this tariff fixation and figuring out, why do we have to figure out so much of complication? I appreciate the fact that the fixing of electricity tariff is not something that can be done very easily. You guys have a very complex job to do. But at the same time, if you really want our opinion, we have simple things to say. We don't have complicated things to say. So, just to take things forward, this is the kind of tariff shock that we have. Okay? In September of 2006, single phase supply, in September of 2006 was paying 100 units, for 100 units was paying 205 rupees. The proposed tariff in the ERR present one right now is going to go up to 490. That in the last 30 months it's gone up 104%. So it's 45% up just from the June tariff. Now, so what I want to know is, has the weighted average cost of all inputs and expenses gone up this much since June? For 400 units, this is the kind of, and these consumers over here, they are not going to be here. They are out earning their income. They cannot attend this hearing, because if they come for this hearing, they lose their daily wage. So they cannot come here and defend themselves on this. Does it mean it will be passed through? Here are the key indicators over the past 30 months. We have the official inflation last release was close to less than 1% now. So we have inflation which is down. We have the central excise rate which affects all the input costs which the petitioner is talking about. That's down 43% at the same time frame. Service tax government has brought down by 70%. The bank PLR has gone up only 9% over the last 30 months. WPI inflation is down. Where coal is up for now. Crude oil is down 27, aluminium 43, copper 58. And the reason I have taken this is not because I just picked out these metals out of my hat. These are the ones which have been quoted by the petitioner in the MYT petition when he asked for a raise in increase in expenses. He went ahead and said, cost of aluminium has gone up, cost of copper has gone up, cost of lead has gone up, and therefore my cost of supply has gone up. Well, now cost of aluminium has come down, copper has come down, lead has come down. So I don't see the supply coming down. Going ahead, what does the World Bank report say? It says that energy is going to be down 25% this year. Costs. These are costs. Oil is going to be down 26% here. And in 2010, it will just be a 0.9% increase over the previous year. Natural gas is down. Coal is going to be down further. Raw materials are going to be down. And copper is going to be down 32% this year. So these are, going forward, these are the costs that really need to be considered. I do not know where they are getting their data from in terms of, things prices are going up. We asked for data. You turned around and said that here is a 700-page book which is available from Reliance. You can file your objections and you can ask them questions and Reliance is supposed to respond to that. So we took the trouble, because it was so confusing, we tried to make a simple format so that we could understand exactly what's happening over the years. Very simple format, we just need to populate the table. And you know what answer they gave me? That's what they did. They did not provide any data. Well, I asked them, okay, number of residential consumers. Let me not make it complicated for you. Just give me one category. Very simple. LF1 plus BPL, because that came in a little later. What is the consumption in millions of units? And what is the sales revenue that you're actually getting? Just one category. It's too complicated for them. Okay, capital expenditure. Bone of contention for everyone. I wanted to know what was their pending execution at the time the MYD order was passed and what new projects were taken up later, and therefore what was the tariff of impacts. I asked them for this data. What's the big idea? If we ask questions and they are not going to give answers, or they are going to give answers saying that whatever data is required we have submitted to the commission, why make us go through this process? What's the big idea? Well, be prepared to provide all of this under RTI, because you're going to get an application from me and probably I don't know from how many other people in the audience, and you will have to provide this data. Coming to some specific things that have been raised by them. New category for railways. This is a good one. They just put in the whole petition document one letter from their own company which says, well, we need to have railway as a separate category and therefore it should be considered. Well, they have not even proposed any rate. It's not proposed, it's not mentioned. There are no consumption figures given, no revenue projections made. And I remember reading a newspaper report which says that the Metro 1 project would be allowed to develop the surrounding space for commercial purposes. I am not so sure that they'll take it at a concessional rate and then start charging the commercial rate to everyone else and make an unjust profit. So maybe this really should, commission should reconsider whether they want to do this just for one consumer. Now this is something which